Alright guys, Benji Price, welcome back to Kingdom Come Deliverance. And like I said, today I'm going to be shouting out some people who have been interacting in my comments. The first person I'm going to shout out, I'm trying not to mess up his name, but his name is Hien Kurong Lam. And the second guy, his name is Cookie Dough. They've been commenting on my videos recently and interacting, so I thank them, and I'm going to put their names on the comment section below. But anyways, today guys, we are in Ushitz. I went ahead and just went to Ushitz and saved you guys the drive. If you don't know what that is, this is Merhoyed, where we were last time. Just follow the road. This is where the encampment was, where we learned about Limpy Lubosh, or not Limpy Lubosh. We learned about Ginger, and then you just keep going straight from there, and you get here. So now we're gonna keep going into the city and see if we can find out anything about this limping guy. Which, I mean, fuck it, I already told you the name, Limpy Lubosh. That's his name. We're gonna see if we can find out anything about Limpy Lubosh here in Ushitz. So cut through here. Now, as we make it into town, we should have seen something interesting, but guess not. Oh yeah, here they are. You'll see, if you came here at night, you'll see this more prominently, and then if you asked around, they'd probably tell you about it. But you just come over here.
Move along, citizens. Move along. There's nothing to see here.
If that's what you call nothing to see, I'd like to know what something to see looks like.
By the keys of St. Peter, this is all I need. We'll have to send word to Sir Hanush.
That might not be necessary.
Who are you?
I'm Henry of Skallitz, in the service of Hanush's Captain Bernard. I'm investigating the attack at Neuhof, and I think this could be related.
Well, I'm the bailiff of Auschwitz. And I say we don't want any of that kind of trouble around here. What makes you think this has anything to do with Neuhof?
One of the folk at the stud farm recognized someone from Auschwitz among the bandits.
We have no bandits or murderers around here.
Really? They say he had a limp?
Shit. Well, allow me to introduce you to Limpy Lubosh, or all that's left of him.
Sakra. Nothing's ever easy. I'll have to take a look around and ask a few more questions, if that's all right with you.
You can take this mess off my hands, and welcome to it. As for what else there is to find out, I don't know. But look and ask all you like.
Alright, so we gotta ask around about Limpy Lubosh. And we can just go ahead and ask the bailiff, see what he knows. I mean, he's the one that discovered him, so let's see.
Who was Limpy Lubosh?
A poor crofter and a scoundrel. Can't say I'm too surprised what happened to him. He kept company with all sorts of vermin. He was always getting into some kind of trouble. Punch-ups in the tavern and what have you.
How come he limped?
He got that from some villainy or brawl a long time ago.
Has he been up to anything suspicious lately?
I don't know. The last few days he didn't go anywhere. He was home the whole time. But he always kept everyone in the village at arm's length.
Did he have any kith or kin in the village?
None. A loner he was. I don't know the last time I saw him with anyone.
Do you happen to know where he was on the night of the Neuhof raid?
I've no idea. He kept his distance from other folk, so you never knew if he was away or holed up at home.
Alright,
When did you find the body? And did anyone see anything?
Just now, and nobody saw or heard anything. I don't know how they could gut him like that without someone hearing him scream.
alright, that's enough for the bailiff. Let's go talk to one of these wayfarers.
I've come in the name of Sir Hanish of Lipa. I'm investigating the massacre in Neuhof, and now a murder here as well. Can I ask you a few questions?
I don't know how I can help you, but ask if you must.
Who was this Lubosh who was murdered?
You could see at first glance he was no good. I kept well out of his way.
Have you noticed anything suspicious recently?
There wasn't sight or sound of him for a long time, and then yesterday he turned up at the church and even talked to the parish priest. I never saw him do that before. Probably had a bad conscience.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing the day Neuhof was raided?
I don't think he was home. I didn't see him all day.
Do you know who Lubosh used to spend time with? Kin or friends?
As far as I know, he had nobody at all in this world.
That's all. Thank you.
Alright, so here we got our first lead. She tells us that Limpy Lubosh knows about, or he used to confess to the priest, and he doesn't know anybody else in this town or have any friends, so the only lead we got is this priest, right? Hey guys, on a side note, I was reading today that they're gonna make a total conversion mod for this game, a Game of Thrones total conversion mod, and I'm fucking down. If they make this game, if they make that, I'm playing that shit. I'm playing that on this freaking channel too. But anyways, here's the church. So hopefully we can find. He's either the priest is always here or in the church, practicing his sword fighting. And you might think, what? Sword fighting? This priest is no ordinary priest, all right?
The blessings of our good Lord be with you, Father. I'm here in the name of Sir Hanish of Lipa, investigating the massacre at Neuhof, which seems to be connected to a murder here. Can I ask you a few questions?
It seems Sir Hanish is employing children as investigators. But ask as you wish, boy. I hope this nasty business will be cleared up quickly.
Did you know Lubosh? What was he like?
A bit of a lost soul. Simple, rough fellow, but at heart I don't think he was such a bad person.
Did you notice anything suspicious recently?
My child, all sorts of suspicious things have been going on recently. People like Lubosh don't know what to do about it, and sometimes they do stupid things.
That's really not a lot of help to me, Father.
I'm sorry to hear that.
Do you know what Lubosh was doing on the day Neuhof was raided?
Unfortunately, I do know. And I'd like to help you with your investigation, but I can't.
What?
I'm bound by certain vows that forbid me to tell you.
Vows more important than catching dangerous murderers?
There are laws of God above the laws of man, son, and one of those is the sanctity of the confessional.
Father, surely you can't be serious. There must be situations in which you can make an exception.
There are things that apply always, no matter what the circumstances, and this is one of them.
I don't remember. I think I could
But
try
Lubosh
this.
is dead. You can't hurt him, but if you don't tell me, more innocent people may die.
If I told you, I would be betraying a vow that's a cornerstone of the Holy Church. If people believed the sanctity of the confessional couldn't be trusted, the consequences would be even worse than that.
Worse than the death of innocent Christians? Worse than the murderer escaping punishment?
No one escapes punishment.
Father, Lubosh was my only lead to the Neuhof raiders. Only he could tell me who was responsible for that massacre. If I don't find out who it was, it will probably happen again. Surely you wouldn't want that.
I wouldn't. But I can't betray the sanctity of the confessional. I'll tell you what. Give me some time and I'll try to think up some way of helping you. Suppose we talk it over in the evening, in the tavern, over a cup of good wine. Maybe we'll come up with something.
All right. Thank you, Father.
Alright, so I always failed that speed check for some reason. I don't know, I just don't have enough speech. But it doesn't matter because that opens up this quest. I'm pretty sure if you passed it, you still have to do this quest because this quest, it's very elaborate for them to let you skip it. And Warhorse, like this game is not very keen on letting you skip main quests. But we're gonna sit here and we're gonna wait until evening, and then we'll be right back. Actually, before we do all that, we're gonna talk to this guy.
Jesus Christ be praised.
Jesus Christ be praised. We're gonna trade and we're gonna buy some Savior Snaps. I'll pay full price because I don't care. And we're also gonna ask him,
Is there anything suspicious going on in these parts?
Indeed there is. Around here, you should hear about what Vashek the groom has been up to at the stables. When the head groom told the lads here, they fell off their seats laughing. Oh, and another thing. Just last night, Father Godwin was here, calling fire and brimstone down on old Gertrude, the herb woman. He's not one to make a fuss over some trifle either.
alright, you always want to come and start these quests just to have them there, but don't actually start them, just learn about them. Alright, now I'm really gonna wait, and we'll be right back. Alright, it's about that time. Father Goodwin should be. Oh, come on, get the.
Be a bit more careful.
This is the thing that makes me mad about this NPCs. They get the hell on your way and then they bitch about it. Alright, Father Goodwin's here. So let's get away from this guy. Sit and talk to Father Goodwin. See what he's got to tell us about Limpy Lubosh.
I'm sorry I can't tell you everything. But maybe we can work something out. But first I'd like to hear something about you, my son. With whom do I have the honor? Where are you from?
I'm from Skallitz.
Oh, I'm sorry. What about your kin?
They're dead.
Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. Here, we'll drink to them. It must have been terrible.
It was terrible. It seemed so pointless. We had no warning. They just appeared and began the slaughter. God knows why. They killed anyone who didn't make it to the shelter of the castle. My parents, my girl, even the Deutsch who was on Sigismund's side. I didn't make it to the castle. I wanted to try and help my parents, but there was nothing I could do. Then I fled to Talmberg with the Cumans on my heels. They almost killed me. They slaughtered people in the surrounding villages. There was a pile of bodies in front of the church in Rovner. Folk who tried to take refuge there, but
I'll be right back with that.
My poor child. May God grant them eternal rest. And how did you come to get this assignment? I'd have expected Sir Hanish to send that old grouch, Bernard.
You think I'm too young for the job, Father?
I do, to tell the truth.
Well, I can only apologise for my lack of grey hair and gout.
Now the most important thing. What actually happened in Noyle? The good folks hereabout are saying all kinds of terrible things, but I take most of it with a pinch of salt.
The rumours aren't exaggerated this time, unfortunately. The Neuhof stud farm was raided by bandits, but they didn't come to pillage or even take the horses. They only wanted to kill. They maimed the horses and slaughtered some people. I'm sure they would have killed more, but the bandits quarrelled among themselves and broke off the attack. And judging by what's left of our Lubosh, they're still settling accounts.
I see it's every bit as bad as people claimed. Dreadful. Well then, here's to those poor souls who had to die so pointlessly and so terribly.
I've told you all about me. Now it's your turn, Father. You don't look much like our parish priest at home. I noticed you're pretty handy with a sword. I wouldn't expect that of a man of the cloth.
You know what they say. The Lord moves in mysterious ways.
But this is a bit more mysterious than others.
Let's just say I haven't always been a priest. Fate led me to places where affairs were settled by force. These days, of course, it's just a bit of exercise to keep me in shape.
Well, we've had an agreeable chat, but now let's get down to business. So, about this confessional seal. Do you really want more innocent people to die?
Henry, that's not how it works. There are matters in which you can't make exceptions because if you do it once, you'll forever be tempted to do it again. If people stop believing in the church because their confessional secrets are betrayed, they won't trust anyone, and that's worse than even the most hideous crime.
I understand, but that means I've reached a dead end. Those cutthroats will strike again, and I can't stop them.
Chin up, lad. I might have a solution.
What?
If I tell you what Luboš told me, I'd be betraying the confessional secret. But, first thing tomorrow, I'll try something I think might help you.
Word of honor?
On my soul.
I always wondered about the things a priest tells his congregation. Where on earth do you get the ideas for your sermons?
Well, Ujits is in Prague. It's not enough to instruct people. They have to be entertained, too. If I only read from the Bible, I'd soon be preaching to an empty church.
Our priest wasn't exactly a bard. So what do you preach to your flock about?
It has to be something topical. Condemning vices. And, of course, describing them in detail. The tongue lashing about the two popes goes down well these days. And stories from real life, with a nice moral to them, are popular as well. Especially if they're about fornication and similar scandalous vices.
Can you give me an example?
Well, recently a priest by the name of Jan Hus started preaching in Prague, in the Czech language, and the people liked it. I hear he always has a full house. A journeyman who heard him told me what Hus is preaching, and I like the sound of it. I'm thinking about putting it in my own repertoire.
What's so amazing about it?
The preaching of Master Jan Hus about Mother Church. The lamentable wealth in which the church is drowning has turned to poison. And nearly the whole of Christendom is contaminated. Just like a flock of hungry ravens, they settled on this land to devour every grain of gold and silver. They know no mercy. Their hearts are corrupted by longing for wealth, and they shamelessly profit from everything. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay and you will have absolution. What if the devil himself were to pay? Would he ascend to heaven too? With such money gained from the poor, they buy beautiful horses to ride and needless servants to pamper them. They gamble at dice and dress their whores in expensive furs, while Jesus Christ walked barefoot and had no place to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too. Amen.
Well, this Jan Hus character is quite a rebel.
Oh, the congregation will love it.
I don't doubt it.
Let's drink to that.
Funny. That last bit reminds me of someone.
What do you mean? My situation's completely different. Huth preaches against the prelates and the clerics who are robbing the poor. Look at me. I don't have a pot to piss in. I'm no better off than the folk I preach to. I'm one with them in poverty and suffering and everything that troubles them. I drink with them and curse those stuffed habits in Sasau Monastery.
Don't you think it's a bit odd when someone boozes and lives in sin with a woman and then criticises the Pope for debauchery?
No, I don't.
What do you think of this Jan Hus?
He's certainly a wise man. A little overzealous for my taste. If he got out of Prague and came here for a look, I'm sure he'd stop condemning drinking and lying with women.
Where can I find out more about his teachings?
You like it? I copied down some of his sermons. If you're interested, you can read them at my presbytery.
What do the common folk think of it?
They like it. They're happy to hear someone say what they think themselves, but are afraid to say aloud. Things that make them angry. And they're calling for change. In a few years, it'll have grown beyond control. You mark my words, the people will rise up and the church will be shaken to its very foundations.
Yeah, unless they burn him at the stake first.
Nonsense. They can't burn a master of the most respected university in Europe.
Thanks for the sermon, but I think I've been morally uplifted enough. Oh, it's getting quite late. What are your plans, Father?
What do you suppose? We have a drink, of course.
Ah, that sounds like a good plan.
I knew you wouldn't let me down.
And this begins one of the funniest quests in this game. Pretty freaking interesting.
Enough of this!
Bailiff, come on over here, sit down and have a drink with us.
Don't vex me again, Father. It's 3 hours past dusk, and curfew is long gone.
So what?
So, I'll have you all whipped and put in the stocks, and I'll write a letter to the bishop about you, priest.
Well, nothing to worry about then. Everyone knows the only one around here who can ride is me.
Enough! Men, throw them out.
Oh, you looking for a fight? Henry, back me up.
This is the best thing in the world. We got drunk with the fucking priest and started a fight with the bailiff. I fucking love this quest, man. It only gets better from here. Very, very awesome quest. Alright. Come on.
Fuck this.
Nope. Come on, get wrecked. That's it for him. Help this guy out. Alright, that's it.
So, my dear, would you like to have a...
Then all of a sudden we're like, we're so messed up we forgot all about that.
I'd love to. And Henry, too, I'm sure. Right, Henry. Stop that nonsense, Godwin. Are you out of your mind? What will people say?
They can say what they like. What do I care? What do they do to me? Watch the step, my dears. Careful, you don't hurt yourself.
Godwin, you're...
I'm gonna have to censor this, I just remembered. Or just cut it out. That little ending part.
Here we are. Look at this beauty.
Oh. We can't do this, can we?
Who says? Get ringing, wench.
This is wonderful.
Ah, bloody oath.
And now, my dears, comes the climax of the evening.
Yeah, I might cut that little scene out because I can't put that on YouTube. But you can look it up for yourself once you play the game, or it's not really that big of a deal, but it's not YouTube worthy. And now we're on this field and we get to chase. Hey, go away. This quest is hilarious. First time I played it, I was dying. It's still fun to this day. I mean, I've played it 3 times. Still fun. I watch a cutscene every time.
Well, I have to say that was a fine evening.
And Henry's just laughing.
Godwin, you beast! Get up! Do you hear me? Wake up, you drunkards!
Oh, fucking hell.
Where the... Oh, what the... Oh, who the hell are you? Oh, Henry. My great friend, Henry. Didn't we have a wonderful time?
Well, you certainly did, you old lecher. Now you better pull yourself together quick. You haven't much time. There's some water and something to eat on the table there, but if I were you, I would move my hairy arse before my flock eats me alive.
Oh, step on in my head. Oh, my guts. Oh, my poor suffering stomach. Oh, what was that woman on about? Before my flock eats me alive. I've forgotten something. What have I forgotten?
Where the fuck am I?
What the fuck was it? Oh. Mass! Oh shit, I have to say mass. I gotta say mass. You have to help me.
How? You're the priest.
I can't do it in this state. Maybe the liturgy. But I have to give a sermon as well. Oh, this is a disaster. They're gonna excommunicate me. I'd like to help you, but you can. You can do the sermon for me.
What? So, first I investigate a murder no one wants investigated. Then I drunkenly keep the whole town up all night. And now you want me to preach at them from the pulpit? Do you want them to burn us at the stake?
No. No, I've got it. Suppose that Sir Ratzig's protege. You just came from studying in Prague. And you want to share the words of Master Jan Hus, who you recently heard preaching there. Henry, look, from what I remember, we might have overdone it a bit last night. And if the bailiff or someone else complains about me, the bishop's gonna have my guts for garters. So I'd appreciate it. Stop gaping at me like a stuffed squirrel and start helping.
You're mad. You're stark raving mad.
I'm not. It's a perfect plan. It's flawless. Oh. How about this? If you help me with this, I'll tell you who Lubosh's cronies are.
Oh my god. How do we get wrapped up into this? Now we're gonna go preach mass? This is insane.
So all at once the confessional seal isn't so sacred?
Don't mock me. I won't give you a second chance.
We'll never get away with it.
Not if you make a hash of it.
Well, alright. I can't make any promises about what'll happen.
No, neither can I.
What do you want me to do exactly?
I'll go and start the liturgy. Then I'll introduce you. You give the sermon I told you yesterday in the tavern, and that's that. No need to drag it out. If it turns out well, I'll tell you what I know about Lubosh.
Christ almighty. Fine then. We have a deal.
Wonderful. Let's get to it then.
I think it's interesting that what's it called? What was I gonna do? Put on my armor. Yeah, I think it's interesting that in this game, every time that you drink, Henry like slurs his words. So they either found a way to make his words slur with some program, or they recorded 2 sets of dialogue for everything in this game. Because anybody you talk to when you're drunk, you're gonna slur your words, and you're gonna see Henry sort of sway back and forward. It's pretty awesome. Alright, I think I remember how to do this.
I thought he'd never show up. The swill dog. Look at him.
He can hardly walk after his capers last night.
You were with them, you beast. Just you wait.
Look at him. Mother of God, any minute now he'll throw up.
So I couldn't sleep a wink last night with all that clamor.
In nomine Patris, et Filii, et Spiritus Sancti. Amen. Accepit panem in sanctas at venerabiles a manus suas. Hoc facite in meam commemorationem. Brothers and sisters, you may have had the honor of meeting Henry from Skallitz, who's here at the behest of Sir Hanush to investigate that heinous crime at Neuhof. You might not know that Henry recently visited Prague, where by the grace of God was able to hear Master Jan Hus from the esteemed Charles University preaching. I've managed to persuade Henry to stand here today in my stead and tell us what he heard. Because, as you all probably know, Jan Hus is a very popular preacher in Prague. So Henry, you may begin.
Now I'm curious which one of them will puke first.
That whole scene has to be my favorite thing in the whole game. Alright. Begin confidently.
Brothers and sisters, let me get straight to the point. I'd like to talk about the church and how corrupt it is.
That boy has a cheek.
Godwin stands at the head of the church. God.
One should not believe in the church, because the church is not God. God is above all things, and the church is but a means to salvation, which the prelates do not care to hear.
He's right.
It is the corruption of God's pastors here on earth that has brought misfortune on our heads. Plague, cumens, hunger, and chaos. The accursed wealth that the church is drowning in is poisoning almost the whole of Christendom. When dogs are fighting over a bone, take the bone and they will stop. Just like the flock of ravens that has descended on this land to peck up every speck of gold and silver. They show no mercy. Their hearts are poisoned by covetousness. They trade everything. Everything is for sale. You want to baptize a child? Pay. You want to steal and murder? Pay, and you will have absolution. And the prelates sin and give themselves absolution.
For shame! Shame upon them!
And what sins? They live with harlots and keep concubines, even though only marital intercourse for the purpose of procreation is pure. If someone takes a woman or man only to satisfy their own lust, who seduces them to do so but Satan? And how much darker the sin if that man is a servant of the church? Who can turn his face to God, who fornicates and then puts on priestly robes?
Nothing we don't know about already.
Enough about sin, which the prelates are so fond of preaching about, and whose absolution they promise if you only pay enough coin to Mother Church. What if the devil himself were to pay? Will the bishops tell us he too would ascend to heaven? And what about those bishops? They sin without remorse, and with the money grasped from the poor for indulgences, they keep fine horses and hordes of servants to pamper them. They play dice and garb their mistresses in expensive furs, while Christ, the Lamb of God, walked barefoot and had nowhere to lay his head. Look to your consciences, you robbers of the poor, for you are seen by God and his people too.
Down with the prelates! Away with them!
We're fortunate to have our good father Godwin! At least he's a fair and simple man.
God sees what is happening on earth, and he is filled with righteous wrath that those who should seek the salvation of souls instead seek mammon and the idle comfort of lucrative posts. Blessed are the shepherds who share the poverty of their flock, who are as one with you and bear with you the burden of this earthly pilgrimage, who do not condemn your venial sins.
Aye, all honour to Godwin. Let him drink like one of us.
That is all I heard in Prague. Amen.
Nailed it.
The lad spoke well, considering what a soak he is.
He's right, that huss.
The young man shouldn't drink so much, but the Lord's given him a silver tongue.
I don't suppose I'll ever get to Prague, but he told him nicely.
Well, well, my boy, you have talent, and I can't deny it. And you pulled a thorn from my side. I almost didn't make it.
Yeah, I noticed. I wasn't the only one.
Oh, what's to be done? I'll make it up somehow.
So, about our bargain.
Although it's a sin.
So gluttony and fornication.
God does forgive a penitent.
So, what did Limpy Lubosh tell you? Was he at Neuhof that day? Who was with him? And where are they now?
Now, slow down. I'm sorry, but he didn't tell me that much.
Don't let me down after all I've been through. For you...
Well, now Lubosh came to me shortly after it happened. His conscience was gnawing at him. And I must say, in the end, he turned out to be a better man than he looked. He said they'd been hired through some crony of theirs. And at first they were just to steal some horses. But then it all turned sour and people started getting killed. And neither he nor his cronies wanted anything to do with that. So they fell out from the gang and fled.
Fell out? Yeah, there was a body found in the woods by Neuhof.
That would explain something. Lubosh kept jabbering that he wasn't a murderer, that he didn't want to do it.
So I know that Lubosh killed the murderer and he's dead too. The trouble is, I need to find the ones who are still alive. I need names and places. Did he mention any of the others?
Only nicknames. Talked about some fella called Riki from Ledechko, Pius, Timmy.
Pius. That lot are about as pious as I am ordained.
Nonsense. You would make an excellent priest. And anyhow, with your skills, you ought to be able to sniff out this Riki from Ledechko, right?
Well, we'll have to now. There's not much else to go on. Let's hope he's not hanging from the wall too.
Indeed. And I'd hate to be excommunicated for nothing. Anyhow, good luck. You watch out for yourself. These people clearly mean business. And I'd like to raise a tankard with you again sometime.
Yeah, I'll try. Although I'm not sure I'd survive another night of your debauchery.
And if anyone should ask, you heard nothing from me. I'll deny everything.
I don't doubt it.
All right, so that was Father Godwin's quest. So now we know that we have to go see some guy in Ledechko named Riki, and we're about to go do that right now. Let's see, where is Ledechko? We look at the map. Right above the Ratai Mill, that's where Ledechko is. So I'm gonna make my way down to Ratai, and then up. I guess I'll see you guys there and we can go to Ledechko together. Alright, well, see you guys then. Alright, so here we are at Ratai Mill, and we're gonna go ahead and head up north towards Ledechko. See if we can find out about this Riki guy. He seems to be involved in the Neuhof murder. The priest told us that. Oh, look, a wayfarer. I usually never stop for those guys because they're just reoccurring They either want money or they either want money or sell you like a treasure map or something. But I don't know. I don't need to do it right now. I don't need any treasure maps or anything. See that guy with the hoodie, or he would have been like I guess you can like get your speech up. If you see carcasses on the road, they'll blame you for the murder, and then you can like try to speech it your way out of it. That'll help your speech, I guess. But besides that, I only stop for wandering nights so that I can fight, and for attacks on the road so I can fight. I don't stop for anything else. And this horse is about to die. We've made it to Ledechko, I think. Yes, we have. Alright, so now that we're in Ledechko, we have to go towards the Mecca of Knowledge, which is always the tavern. Whenever you want to figure out something about the town, you go to the tavern. The innkeeper knows everything.
Good day to you. What do you need?
What's happening around here?
Ah, you know how it is. Always something. Especially at the mill. Not a week goes by without some ruckus there. But I'm wise to them troublemakers. Whenever they're planning some mischief, they're always huddled there in the corner, hatching their plots. Like yesterday, for instance. And that's not all. Like Vatsek has started an archery contest here. If you want to try your luck at winning a few groschen, you should go and see him. And by the way, now I think of it, I've not seen Kunhuta here for some time, the local herbwoman. She always comes here once a week for a tankard of ale, but she ain't turned up recently. I hope nothing's happened to her.
Alright, so now we got the quests.
Why do we have to sniff around for some stinking tanner?
Always get the quests so that you can have them marked in your map, you know, and you can do them whenever you want. Let's go talk to maybe the bathhouse people know anything about Riki. They do not. What the? How did I learn about Riki? Let me see. I think, was it the I think I'm getting too ahead of myself. I think the tailor knows something.
Good out to you, sir.
I'm looking for a fellow called Riki. Do you know him?
Riki? You mean Inak, the courier's son?
Maybe. Do you know where I might find him?
He's not usually around here. Try asking at his own. But I hope we've got a thick skin. The old courier ain't exactly charming.
So you know this Hinek. Can you tell me something about him?
Not much, I confess. Most of the village folk avoid him like the plague.
Why's that?
No one with a nose likes spending too much time around tanners. And that Riki keeps bad company. I've never heard a good word said about him.
What can you tell me about the old courier?
He's as cantankerous as a hog in a thorn bush. He don't talk to anyone.
Why do they call Hinek Riki anyway?
He's a tanner, isn't he? If you're ever downwind of him, you'll understand. Tanning isn't a trade for the weakest stomach.
True enough. But not every courier gets cursed with a name like that.
Well, Hinek's nature's no sweeter than his smell.
Why has he got such a bad name?
Well, like his old man, he doesn't talk much to anyone. And then he's always skulking off somewhere. I heard he got a taste of the pillory in Rattay for thieving. And in Neuhof, he got boozed up in the alehouse with his cronies, and they beat up some merchants.
So a bit more than high spirits?
Just so. We're all honest folk here. We've no use for the likes of him.
Don't tell me there's not a single person who talks to him.
He's been seen around with one of the bathhouse wenches. Adela, I believe she's called.
Alright, so he tells us that his father is the tanner and that he's been sitting around the bathhouse with some girl named Adela. That's why I was a little bit ahead of myself, because, yeah, this is Adela over here. If I'm not mistaken. She's always around here somewhere.
You won't want to go home to your wife looking like a stuffed owl now, would
Rish.
you?
She's like in the middle
I
of
heard
doing
you've
something.
been seeing Hinek, the tanner's son.
So what? Come to preach at me, have you? That I'm a loose woman, a sinner, that I seduce decent men?
God, no, nothing like that. It's just that you're the only one in the village who sees Hinek, so I came to ask you about him.
Aye, I've seen him often enough, but I don't know what I could tell you about him.
Hey, you there.
Where can I find
Going
Hinek?
to hang around here gaping
I haven't
like a
seen him in the
stuffed
village
squirrel
for a
all
few
day and
days.
night.
He must have run off to the woods again.
Does he do that often?
From time to time.
What the hell does he get up to there?
I don't know.
Hey, you there. Are you going to
Look,
hang around
Hinek's my
here
friend,
gaping
and I
like a
really need to know
stuffed
where he
squirrel
is and
all
what
day
he's
night?
doing.
But I already told you I don't know where he's got to.
So I suppose he just goes to the woods to pick mushrooms, does he?
Mushrooms, no. More like hares or other game.
So Hinek is a poacher? That's no surprise.
Well, he was never much of one for an honest trade.
Do you know exactly where he goes? Maybe he has some favourite spot he might have told you about?
He said he has some hideout in the woods, but he didn't tell me where.
When did you last see him?
A few days ago, he came to me late in the evening, drunk.
And that was unusual?
I never saw him drink much. He always came to me sober.
So he was acting strangely that evening?
He was strange. I had the feeling he was afraid of something. He keeps prattling on and didn't seem to care about you know what. So I threw him out and I haven't seen him since.
What are you gaping at? Have you paid?
Can you remember anything he said that evening?
Oh, I'm not sure. He went on about some fellow called Lubosh who died. That he was regretting he ever got into it. But he never said what it was. And that it wasn't worth it for the money. Aye. And then he was talking about the money. That was very odd.
What did he say about the money?
Just that he had a pile of it hidden behind his house.
I see. What did you say to that?
What could I say? He was drunk. He kept saying I was a fine girl, and other harlots wouldn't go with him even for money. And if I wanted, I could even take half the money and leave. Or he'd go with me, and we could get married and such. All just poppycock.
Did you go there for a look?
No, I've got better things to do. Obviously he made it up. Where would a layabout like him get so much coin?
Yes, I understand.
What are you gaping at? Have you paid?
Did he tell you exactly where he hid it?
And get lost.
He said he buried it at his father's small holding in the western corner.
All right, thank you.
Alright, that's enough of that. We learned a couple things. He's a poacher.
With nothing better to do.
Dude, shut up. He was talking the whole conversation, man. So we learned that he's got some treasure hidden away, which I am not going to get. But I'll show you where it is. Because, I mean, it's stealing. If his dad sees you do it, he's going to call the cops on you. And I don't need it. It's only like 200 coins or something. But if you really want it, it's over here. It's right there. You can start digging. And you'll get like a gamberson and some other stuff. Actually, I don't care. I'm going to do it.
There's someone there.
Let's make sure he's not looking. Yeah, nah, he's gonna see me do it.
Mother of God.
So let's talk to him though.
Good day to you.
I'm looking for a fellow called Riki. Have you ever heard of him?
Sure. Why wouldn't I? That's what they call my son, Hinek.
Ah, you wouldn't happen to know where he is, would you?
I don't know nothing.
Don't you at least know where he usually goes? It's important.
Hinek shows up at home once in a blue moon, so I don't know nothing about where he gets to. Even if I did, why would I tell every Tom, Dick and Harry?
Listen, your son's in serious trouble. I'm trying to help him, and my patience is wearing extremely thin. If you start answering my questions, this is going to go a lot better for everyone.
Are you threatening me? And I'm supposed to believe you want to help Hinek?
Believe what you like. I'm concerned about Hinek, but I really don't much care what happens to you. Is that clear?
Fuck it. I'm not going to take a beating on account of that good-for-nothing.
So?
There's not much I can do for you anyway. Hinek came here, but he left right away.
Where did he go? You better give me something. You really don't want to waste my time.
Hinek makes some money on the side from poaching. He boasted to me a few times about what a great hideout he found in the woods, but he never told me where it is.
Well, it's not much to go on, but it's better than nothing. Thank you. Don't you have any clue at all where his hideout could be?
I really don't know nothing about that. I could tell when he'd come from there is all.
How's that?
'Cause every time he brought some hides for tanning and money.
He had money because he sold the stuff right away?
I suppose. He never kept any of his loot here.
Do you know who he sold it to?
No. But the innkeeper came here now and again and gave him coin. Of course, it could have been for me.
All right. I'll ask at the inn then. What more do you know?
Nothing. I swear to God Almighty, I've said all I know. Hinek never told me nothing.
Bloody hell. Start using your head or I'll never find Hinek. How much time did he spend away? What was he wearing? How did he look when he came back? Anything?
Well, he came and went at all sorts of hours. I really don't know. Except maybe one thing. He'd come home scratched with brambles and with leaves and muck on him.
So he probably went through thick woods to get to that place.
I reckon. What do I know?
Alright, that's enough of talking to his dad. So again, you could get it's like 200 coins in a Gamberson over there. I'm not going to do it because I don't need it. Let's call a horse real quick. Alright, so we know that he's a poacher and that he's been selling stuff. Or the innkeeper used to come and give him money, so I bet he sells to the innkeeper. Now, again, that's why I went to the innkeeper earlier, because I thought he was going to tell me about Riki, but I was confused. Because now, we get to go talk to the innkeeper. See what he has to tell us about Riki.
I want to ask about the courier's son, Hinek.
But ask someone else. They've nothing to do with Riki. He'd only drive my customers away.
Really? I heard a different story. I heard the two of you do business together.
Who are you, anyway?
A friend of Hinek's. He's gone missing and I need to find him.
I don't know where he is. But if you find the bastard, tell him he still owes me some goods.
I don't give a damn what deals you've been doing together. I won't tell anyone. I just need to know where Riki is. It's urgent.
What have our deals got to do with where he disappeared to?
More than you think. It's likely Riki is hiding out at his poaching lair. And believe me, it wasn't hard to find out who was buying game from him, and it's even easier to go to the castle and tell them. Poaching's a crime, after all.
All right. But give me your word of honor you won't tell anyone about our deal.
You have my word.
Fine. So, what do you want to know?
I hear Hinek has a hideout in the woods he uses for hunting game. Do you know where it is?
Not exactly. I don't know where it is at all.
But
I happen to know it's a dark place, a cave or an old mine shaft.
How do you know that?
Whenever Riki was going poaching, he always came to me first for candles and lamp oil. He brought the game skinned and gutted, so he had to have a light for that.
How much game did he bring you?
Not much, a few pieces. There's no great demand here. Sometimes the gentry has something, otherwise it ends up in sausages.
And do you know of any mine shafts nearby?
There's a few of them around. There's one on the opposite bank, a short way off the path leading from the forge to the west. Then there's a mine gallery to the east of the village, up in the woods above the cliffs. And I heard there's one shaft on the headland close to the water.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Watch you don't break your neck, though. It's rough ground, and you could easily fall down a shaft.
Alright. So, he gives us something like 3 places to go look at. So if we look at the map, there's 3 places. this is where you want to go. It's like thick woods. So we're gonna want to go left and up. He's over there. He passes through the thick woods. We learned that from his dad. It's a dark place, so I always, the first time I tried this, it wasn't even trial and error. I knew that it was here because it just seemed logical to me. I had already unlocked this part, and I saw that it was like in the middle of like the woods, and I'm thinking, yeah, that makes sense. Now if I can just see, there has to be, there's like a little bridge or something up here. Let's follow this path. Take a, you see what I'm saying? I was facing this way when I started, when I opened up the map. Alright, go this way. Let's go over here, and it should be around here somewhere. Here it is. Alright, so you come over here. You see there's like a tanning thing outside. Right there. That shit scared the hell out of me, those Bambies up there. We come in here, we see Ricky.
Jesus Christ, what am I to do? Not that I can expect any useful advice from you. At least, you've no more cares.
Need someone to talk to?
Fuck! Don't kill me. I can explain. I won't tell anyone. I swear, I've no one to tell anyway. Just please don't kill me.
I'm not planning to kill you.
You're not one of Runt's men?
No.
Huh. Then who are you?
I come here in the name of Sir Radzig Kapilla and Sir Hanish of Lipa. I'm investigating the raid on the Neuhof stud farm.
Got no idea what you're on about.
Save your breath. If you want any chance to escape the gallows, you better come clean, alright?
Jesus Christ. This will never be over.
So?
Fine then.
That Neuhof raid of yours didn't turn out quite as planned, did it?
Depends on whose plan you're talking about. We were up to it to grab some loot and bugger off. Only Runt's cutthroats was there to shed blood.
What do you mean, Runt's cutthroats?
There were two gangs there. Mine and Runt's. We was only there to steal, but they wanted to slaughter everyone.
But when you realised what they had in mind, you didn't have to go along with it, did you?
But we didn't know nothing, even though we were going to Neuhof. They told us to keep watch on the courtyard while they were cutting the horses' throats. Jesus, that fucking vexed me. Their horses was the most valuable thing there. When I spoke up, though, Runt gave me such a bollocking I knew I'd better keep my mouth shut. And when they said we was going to kill anything that moved, then we knew there was no going back.
That gang of yours, what can you tell me about them?
Don't know what you want to know. There was 4 of us. Me, Timmy, Limpy Lubosh, and Pius Pavan. Sometimes we'd rob a place or hold up pilgrims. Never nothing fancy.
I'm sure you did mischief enough. Who led you?
Pius. He was the oldest, and he'd mostly find the jobs for us. Plan them and the like. He got us into that fucking mess in Neuhof, too.
What about the others?
Timmy's strong as an ox, with a brain to match. You got more sense out of a fence post. And Limpy, I've been with him the longest. He's my one and only friend, I suppose.
Who got your 2 gangs together? You must have made contact somehow, right?
Pius. He comes to us and says he's got this prime job. We're gonna rob a farm, he says. That was a big deal, because mostly we just did small stuff. A hold up on the road now and then, nothing fancy. When they told us how much we could make on it, well, we just couldn't refuse.
So Pius knew them?
I suppose, but I don't know where from. We even got paid up front. I should have known from the start it was too good to be true.
Where did the rest of your gang end up?
You saw Limpy, right?
Yes, but he's no use to me now. Tell me where I can find Pius or Timmy.
I don't know nothing about Pius. He vanished in the woods, and I haven't seen him since. Timmy, I reckon, went back to the mill where he works.
Which mill?
The windmill a bit north of Neuhof.
Did you know any of Runt's people?
Not a one. They didn't talk to us at all. None of their faces was familiar either. The only thing I know is they called that huge chief of theirs Runt, and Pius warned us to watch out for him.
I don't suppose you know where they got to after the raid?
On the way to Neuhof, Timmy told me he was at their camp with Pius. I reckon that's where they've gone now.
Did Timmy tell you where the camp is?
Somewhere in the woods. He didn't say nothing more. Thing is, Timmy's got quite an imagination. But Pius roared at him to shut it, so I reckon there must be something in it.
Tell me exactly how the raid went down.
Well, we stormed in from the rear. Runt's people started slaughtering the horses. Jesus, that was bleeding horrible. Meanwhile, me and Limpy had a sniff round the stables to see if we could find anything worth pilfering. And in the end, we got lucky.
What did you find?
Smill, Sir Hanish's groom. I don't know why he was up and what he was doing in the stables, but we took advantage of the situation. Limpy grabs him by the throat and I slapped him round to encourage him to tell us where the money was. Then it all fell apart at the seams. Quicker than you'd believe. Runt comes running up and skewers the groom like a pig for roasting. My jaw dropped. I thought the stuff about killing was just tough talk.
And it wasn't?
No, not in the least.
What happened then?
I'm gaping at Smill, stuck through and through, and I noticed this boy standing at the other end of the stables. The stupid sods pointing at us, jaw hanging down to his knees, saying, "I know you." Runt turns to us and hisses, "Take him down." So me and Lubosh start running, because the lad took to his heels. At the same time, we could hear the noise of the skirmish in the courtyard. We caught up with the boy at the next farmhouse. I knock him to the ground, but he bashes me with some piece of iron so hard my head's ringing like a fucking church bell. Limpy grabs it off him and stands over him with his bodkin in his hand, and I start praying. In the end, Limpy just gives him a kick and says, "Beat it, Ginger." And then Runt shows up at the gate and hollers that we gotta go, so we scarp it.
What happened after the raid?
We were waiting for that fool, Timmy. Same place as we met them before, so he'd know where we were, right? Stupid fucking idea. But Pius didn't want to leave him behind. Only when Timmy finally turned up, two of Runt's men were dragging him.
There was some difference of opinion?
You could say that, yeah. They started on us right away that we were traitors. They knew we'd let somebody get away, and now we were going to pay for it. They started trying to surround us, and we knew what was coming. But Limpy took his bodkin and let that fucker have it in the belly.
Runt?
One of the others. Timmy broke free from them, and we all took to our heels. Luckily, they were so buggered from the raid, they didn't follow us for long. They just shouted that they'd find us.
That's all I need to know. So now what do I do with you?
Well...
Hey, over here! It's up the hill. Shh. Chief, we found the cave. Shut up, you'll hear you.
Oh, shit. Runt's people. We've got to get out of here. They're too close. We'll never outrun them. Fuck! At least they don't know I'm here. The two of us can take them by surprise. No fucking way. I'm gone. Look here. If you run, they'll catch up with you and kill you. And me too. Together, we stand a better chance. Oh, Jesus Christ. All right.
I suppose you're right.
Alright, this is interesting. I've actually never done this, because if you take too long to get here,
Who's there?
Riki's already been attacked.
What's going on? It turns out Willie's having a slaughter.
Yo, leave him alone, dude. Fuck.
I'll slaughter you.
Shit.
Enjoy this.
Get away.
Fucking hell.
Come on, idiots. Now you, Archer, the Lone Ranger,
Enough, please.
be gone. He probably would have told us where the farm was if we talked to him, but nah, I'm not worried about it. Because we're going to do the next episode. Alright, let's take all these guys' stuff. Because next episode will be pretty interesting. So if you take too long, I usually go shower and do a bunch of stuff before I come and search for Lubosh or for Riki. And if you take too long, you just show up to the cave and Riki's dead. Or he's dying, and he'll tell you where about Timmy, but he won't tell you all the other stuff. And then he just dies. So I'm actually pretty surprised that I made it this time. Okay, now not sure where Riki went, but next time we're gonna go find Timmy in the windmill and do some other stuff. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time we play Kingdom Come Deliverance: A Knight's Tale.